everybody, and welcome back to another round of Marmalade in the booth, Ginkgo and Rocco.
Hey guys, what's up? How you doing?
Rocco, look at this beauty. Look at the new space, new lightning, just a bright picture of magic cards and this beautiful playmat in the middle.
It shows hope in these devastating times. Let us pray.
Trying times for Magic the Gardening.
Yeah.
Today we have for you Scam versus Blue-White Control. There is not anymore Blue-White.
Why? What's wrong?
They're splashing all of the triumphs just to play Leyline Binding.
Right. So it's like more of a 5-color, but not really.
Yeah, it's
not playing green. It's just having green.
No, it's not playing even black or red. It's blue-white in the cards, but the lands.
Yeah.
The lands, man.
But how good is Leyline Binding?
Yeah, no,
ridiculous.
It's
right?
ridiculous. It's
a turn 2, 1
card.
mana, remove pretty much anything I want.
Yeah, and you cannot get rid of it by conventional means.
Yeah.
Even something that usually would exile some permanent for 1 mana, you cannot, because this costs a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
6 mana is a lot. But nevertheless, this is a turn 1 Thoughtseize for the Scam player. And
that's how it usually goes, yeah.
And do we have shiny set of cards on the other side? I see Jace the Mind Sculptor. I see Solitude.
I see a Teferi.
Teferi,
all the way to the
Time
left.
Reveler. Yes, the 3 fairy. And probably some lands. This is a fine keep.
How good is turn 1 scamming Griff in this matchup?
It's
probably
extremely
unfair,
good.
right?
It's extremely good because if you strip like 1 or 2 cards from the control side, you are left with free reign of stuff for the first several turns of the game, and you can do a ridiculous amount of
The
that.
control side is probably on the mercy of a top deck, but like, how are they going to remove a Grief? Like, obviously not Prismatic Ending.
Yeah, that's also
Probably
interesting.
The aforementioned Leyline Binding, probably, and also, let's say a Teferi, but do you want to bounce it?
Yeah, that's also a problem. Do you want to bounce another free Thoughtseize?
But Teferi prevents the scamming stuff, right?
It does, but
It's
at
too
the
late.
time when the Grief feeds the battlefield, you are already on 3 mana, so is your opponent. The next turn is a 4th mana down, and you just slam the Grief back.
Yeah, that's why you play Dreadbore, man, and nobody plays that card. Dreadbore just removes anything you want, and nobody plays the creature lands anymore. I mean, they do, but not as much as before.
Yeah, but the Dreadbore is unfortunately sorcery.
Yeah, it is.
It does not hit on several key things that need to be hit upon.
You know what I noticed for the Dreadbore is that it is a sorcery, and that is a good thing. Why? Because of Delirium.
Yeah, that's also true.
If you're a Murktide deck, you don't have a lot of sorceries, right?
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
have? Like an Expressive Iteration, and that's about it. Like, but,
Serum Visions if you are extremely going off the wall.
yeah, and if you're like just an old crazy man.
Oh, this is the Chalice of the Void.
One.
One. Why on 0?
I have no idea. Let's continue.
So what does Chalice of the Void on 1 stop here?
Now, probably the scamming, right?
So this is at least 8 cards.
This is
Lightning
an
Bolt.
anti-scam move. And
So-
Lightning Bolt, a Fatal Push. But what can be Fatal Pushed for the blue-white side?
Doesn't matter, nothing probably, but also it
Probably a creature
stops.
land. Hall of the Storm Giants.
That's
Which has a ward anyway, but
Yeah.
still.
That's true, but also it stops Thoughtseize and Inquisition.
Yeah, that's right. So like half of the deck.
So would you say this was a good top deck? Oh, and also Teferi.
and the fairies here. No, it doesn't look good. I mean, I guess who you ask, but it doesn't look good.
Oh,
for the
if
scam
I'm
side.
on the control side, I definitely just blast the Teferi because Dash Ragavan will kill it. And maybe if you have another Solitude or something and you're willing to just throw your cards into the wind, then it's fine. But the 2 damage, I believe, is preventable.
If you dash Ragavan, is he being countered because of the
Oh,
challenge?
yeah. Oh, yeah,
It's a
I'm
question,
dumb.
actually, yeah?
Yeah,
You're
it
not
is. The
dumb.
mana value is still 1. I am extremely...
So Ragavan is also being shut down. Like, Chalice
so
of the Void,
75% of the deck is shut down by Chalice of the Void.
the better side.
The control player knows what they're doing. And Jace to
This
my
is why you
sculptor.
play Colligan's Command, man. You gotta destroy that. You gotta destroy that.
Yeah,
And now we have Super Friends are
a
back.
scam card on the top. Yeah, you can draw this card. It doesn't do anything.
Once you see
Nope.
that plus...
Nope, this is a game one.
I refuse to be a part of this. I'm stupid.
Yeah, so this was an extremely fast game one.
Who is the favorable matchup here?
Oh, this is interesting. This is extremely
Is it
interesting.
50-50?
No,
No?
no, I would believe is extremely lopsided, but it really depends on key cards.
Draws.
Play draw depends immensely, and also it depends on whether the control side has the Chalice of the Void.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, what cards do you want to have in your hand if you're a blue-white?
If you're a blue-white, you want to have Chalice of the Void, Rest in Peace,
Yeah.
probably some late game stuff, and definitely something to exile the opponent's scammable creatures.
So Leyline Binding.
Doesn't have to be Leyline Binding, can just be 2-for-1ing yourself with the Solitude. That's fine. You have better top decks than the Grief. And we have seen right now Jace just plucking up the foremost card of the scam deck and seeing it was an unplayable one drop.
Yeah, just keep it.
It's fine, keep it. You can have your top decks that are just scams that do not work. If you do not have a board, I will have my Jace the Mind Sculptors, the Fairies, I do not know what, Leyline Bindings, everything else. What do they even play nowadays in the...
God only knows.
Yeah.
And also MTG top 8. But here's the thing. What cards you want to have if you're a scam player?
Oh, that's a good one.
Probably want to scam, right?
I want as
Scamming
many Thoughtseize effects as possible. I do want some Shatter effect, as we have seen, extremely important.
But turn 1 Grief is you really want to have.
Yeah,
But
turn
here's the
one
thing,
Grief,
like from Cyber Game, what are you cutting for this? Like, are you cutting like a couple of pieces of the scam department?
Probably,
Probably.
because now there are two schools of thought in this kind of situations. One is go all in. The second one, try to be a little bit more controlling. Try to go a little bigger.
These answers might be answered. These questions might be answered by asking which one is on the play, which one is on the draw.
That's also true, because if you're on a play, you definitely leave Ragavans in.
Yeah.
But if you are on, and you are not, you're content of having a turn 1 Ragavan, definitely. But it is answerable by more than one way. Prismatic Ending, Leyline Binding, just a pitched Grief and some other
Or maybe
things.
a subtlety, Well, that's right, the subtlety is being played. Now, that's a tricky part, right? Do you want to scam your opponent by knowing that he has a solitude, a subtlety, you know what I mean? This matchup, both of them can drop the 4 or 5 cards instantly in turn 1. Right?
Do you really want to have subtleties if you're a blue-white player in this matchup? That's a legit question.
No, I have, honestly, now more than I think about it, like if they go for the Griff, you just gotta go no subtlety. Put it somewhere.
That's fine, but
And he's gonna do it again, right?
yeah,
And then that's fine. He just lost another card, and he has his Kamet another card.
yeah, but also you as a blue-white player also lost another card because you have to pitch something to subtlety. I'm not sure. Really, I'm not certain if you want.
The only question you have to ask yourself is how are you going to answer turn 1 Grief? Like, this is not where you want to be.
From the control side, I do believe the turn 1 Grief is minuscule. Yeah, the 3 damage is fine, but you'll draw out of it.
2 cards being removed. Okay, I guess we'll find out. Let's see what they make.
Out, yes. But I might be wrong, and you, dear viewers, can tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, or how would you actually side in this matchup by being on one side or the other, because this game is played by the sideboard and probably dies by the sideboard.
Yeah.
And there are tools, definitely, but Do you side in just on level 1 stuff against the control if you're the scam matchup? Do you side on level 2 as siding against their sideboard? Or do you side in a level 3 and just say fuck it?
Yeah.
And this is a
Let's
turn
see
1.
if we were wrong or not.
Yeah.
Turn 1 Grave is being played right now. Days Undoing
Days
being
Undoing,
red.
Narset also, and
That's a combo right
Grief, not Grief, but Solitude as well. So the first one taking Solitude, is there? Yes, there is. Second one taking Question.
Is this with a counter? Ooh,
Yeah, this is with a counter and taking
Ooh.
Narset. So you can have
What
your
was the first card being removed?
Solitude.
Solitude and Narset. Alright, let's see how is this gonna look.
It's going to look turn 1 land pass.
Yeah.
Turn 2 land pass, turn 3 maybe even just fill up both of our hands.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what kind of 2-mana play we have. Oh, a
Dauthi
Tura.
Voidwalker.
Or a Dauthi or a Tura?
Dauthi Voidwalker.
Dauthi. Oh.
In response, fetch, of course.
Now this, I'm not an expert, but this looks kind of one-dimensional at this point.
Yeah, I would not
What are you hoping for at this moment? Supreme Verdict is a very long way to go.
That's fine. You have, as a blue-white player, your life is an extremely important resource, an extremely expendable one.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you are above 3, you do not care. Because you have a lot, and I do mean a lot of ways to gain life in this deck. By just virtue of hardcasting Solitude and getting in with lifelink or any other things, you can get out. Oh, and there is a Thoughtseize, and I do believe the first one is
Supreme Verdict, and
Verdict.
it will be removed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is this goes.
Dauthi. This goes below the Dauthi.
I don't believe this matters from the side of the blue-white player because they do not play any snapcasters. But certainly good to have the board as clean as possible.
Does Dauthi let you cast a card without paying its mana cost?
Yeah.
So balanced, right?
Yeah, it's good card.
Yeah, it is a good card indeed.
Especially when you turn 2 Dauthi, turn 3 Thoughtsees your opponent's Karn or Emrakul or whatever if they're playing Tron.
Yep.
Nice place.
Very.
This is a prismatic ending on the Dauthi
4/2.
Voidwalker. 4/2 gets exiled. Another land played. The
2-turn clock.
2-turn clock still.
But this is modern. 2-turn clock is everything most of the time.
Yeah. If you have a Murktide, it's
Or a
turn
Dead Shadow or
2-turn
something
clock.
like that.
Yeah. So
I
Kroxa.
think I see a Kroxa, yeah.
So first things first, get in for 4.
So Kroxa will put you down to 1.
Maybe, or just discard a playable card. This is a tough one.
Actually, you're right. By putting a non-land card.
This is a tough one. Oh, so discard the... Oh yeah, and just scam the Kroxa again. Do it again.
This doesn't look good, yeah.
I mean, you have to... Yeah, you have to...
Supreme Verdict.
No. You have to get the Days Undoing, but then you have nothing to follow it up. And that's... Game 2, those were extremely lopsided games, extremely fast. As we said, first game went to the blue-white player, just turn 2, lock your half of your deck with the Chalice. The second one went to the scam player, lock your everything hand with a lot of discard.
Beating you up with a 4-power creature.
Yeah, and this is what we have been saying about. You either go all in or you go a little bit bigger if you are the scam, or a little bit smaller if you are the control deck and have some answers. Now, the all-in approach seems to be working from the same scam side. There was nothing cut from the scam package, probably even some things added in.
Now the things might change though, right? I don't see them changing their strategies, but now the tables have turned.
Yeah, interestingly, if you want to side in something on play versus draw, I do believe this might be the case, but also it depends on their sideboards if they have some extremely lopsided cards. Ragavan from the scam side is still a good play on the draw.
Yes,
on
against
turn
control, only being answered by Prismatic Ending. I mean,
and Leyline Binding.
and Leyline Binding.
Yeah, and a lot of other types.
Yeah, but when you consider like not including the card disadvantage side of things, Leyline Binding, you're right, Prismatic Ending.
Archmage's Charm.
Turn 1, turn 2.
Turn 3, doesn't matter. You're on the draw, you're on the play.
That's also scam.
That's one way of scamming your opponent.
Yeah.
But this is an extremely important thing for both sides. If you're a scam player, you now actively want your Ragavan turn 1 because it dodges Chalice of the Void.
Yeah.
And you now get your opponent on the wrong foot because they need to answer this or get buried by card advantage or treasures or just opulent amounts of mana.
Yeah, even if you play like a Chalice of the Void now, the Ragavan is already in play.
Yeah,
So
you
if
can
it
take
hits you-
1 or 2 hits from the Ragavan. That's not the end of the world, but it will develop the mana situation for your opponent significantly.
Consider hitting with the Ragavan, putting a treasure token, resolving Call Against Command. Destroying Chalice of the Void.
Oh, yeah,
discarding the
definitely.
card.
Yeah,
Prismatic Ending was a correct way to go.
Yeah, Prismatic Ending is
that
definitely...
monkey.
Because you probably want another tap land if you are the control player here, and just develop your 5 colors of mana for a 2-color deck, which is ridiculous nowadays. And I implore Wizards of the Coast to make playable...
1 mana Blood Moon.
No, doesn't have to be a playable land destruction land that is not a sinkhole or a wasteland. Maybe something like... want to activate, tap, sacrifice, destroy target, non-basic land, its controller may search for basic.
Yeah, that sounds
Something
about
like
right.
it. That's modern power level acceptable.
Because you're really forcing the format to play Blood Moon in the main deck. And that's just not cool.
Not cool, yeah. If the 2-color decks are splashing 3 colors to play Leyline Binding, and if the 5-color deck can have all 5 colors of mana on turn 2 every game, something is a little bit amiss.
But Leyline Binding being played, is it a question of, is Leyline Binding that good? Or is it a question, is it really that hard to put the Triumphs in your deck?
Both things are true, and I do believe that the problem with Leyline Binding is that it is an answer and not a question.
Yeah.
And this is also a problem. Because you do not ban answers, you do not mitigate answers. Answers are good. If you have answers, then you have interesting matches. You have no turn 1
like the linear decks are not being dominated the format. Yeah, you're right. You really want to see the game go long because it's more interesting.
I mean, there's merits of having a turn 2 kill sometimes, but sometimes.
It's interesting at the beginning, but it becomes stale later.
Yeah, so you mustn't have a deck that is just either dominating one format or can do degenerate things on turn 1. Degenerate things above scamming grief twice to your opponent's face.
The modern is basically just, doing degenerate stuff.
Yeah. There was a quote from some famous streamer is that Legacy is the place where all of the design mistakes go to die, and Modern is the little brother that still nourishes those design mistakes.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, all we see on Blood Moon doesn't matter.
Blood Moon and scamming Fury, killing the Narset.
Or this is a Teferi, I believe.
Oh, Teferi, yes.
But can it work? No, it can't work. Yeah, because it's not being scammed, it's being, evoked.
Why is the... Oh, the Teferi was on 5.
Ooh.
Right. So this was only to prevent the Teferi from returning the Blood Moon.
Makes sense.
Which is telling a lot from both sides. If you are, first of all, willing from the scam side to have the Teferi just remove 2 cards to just for 4 loyalty, and from the other side, this is a 2-color deck that cannot function with a Blood Moon in play.
Cannot.
Definitely cannot, because
Probably does to an extent, but that extent is not that extendable.
But where are the
Counterspell, the Archmage's Charm, right?
Where are the basics? This land from the blue-white side has probably 2 islands and 1 plains in the whole deck. It has a more prevalent mana base in terms.
You do tutor those lands, probably.
How?
I mean, now it's too late, but like at the beginning, like you do need to work around Blood Moon. This Blood Moon is a main deckable card now.
Yeah.
And this is a post-Cyber King, too.
Yeah. And this is what, also circling back to the topic that we have had just right now of, do you need to mitigate the abundance of colors in Modern? I do believe you do. How you do this is questionable.
I don't think this will be addressed because before you had, what was the name of that card? Arkham Astrolabe?
Yes.
Yeah. That card was banned because it let the decks play more than 3 or more than 2 colors reliably fighting against Blood Moon.
Yeah.
Now this, Wizards will always tell you, like, yes, this is 5-color mana bases, but you do have an answer, and the answer is Blood Moon. Play it. Out of the question.
No, but this is wrong thinking, because I'm not saying you.
No, that's not me.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
Wizards of the Coast. I would like mitigate this instantly. I don't like this.
This is 1 card from 1 color. You need answers in all 5 colors if you want your format to be healthy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're forcing the format to play certain cards, certain archetypes, and certain decks, and are just leaving the other ones to develop on their own or to fall back, because they either cannot function under Blood Moon or cannot function without one.
Yeah.
And
so you're basically revolving the format around this 1 card.
Yeah, and this is not a good thing.
No.
There are other lesser things that you can do, but they are not enough and far and few between. Field of Ruin or newly printed in Brothers War, the basically
Destruction. What
Field of Destruction.
Field of
It's basically the same
very
thing.
creative.
The same thing, but only better worded for the commander.
Yeah.
Anyways, other than that, how can you destroy lands? You have Boom Bust and the land destruction deck that is usually red-white, but it's still in a red color.
Well, the thing about the domain decks is they're already being exposed to the land destruction by means of, like, Ponza just starting looking very good.
Yeah, but it's also a red deck.
Yeah. But you can probably mitigate it by playing, I don't know, Aspiring Spike started popularizing again Shadow of Doubt. Like he said, okay, let's play 2 Shadow Doubts in my blue-white control. Why? Because there's so many searches, so many things that want to have so many things on a battlefield being searched. Like there is so much exposure to land destruction right now, either by having Spreading Seas or just by playing red or just
by ending the game via Blood Moon.
Yeah, that's also the thing. Like you don't have to think outside of red. Like it's a Blood Moon already meta game. You're not playing to main. At least that's my opinion.
Well, what if I want to play the main? Anyways, that is all for us. If you want to hear our banter, please leave a comment down there. We might consider doing just a podcast about stuff we think about Modern and all of the decks that are prevalent in Modern. But that is all for now. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Rocco, for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys.
Rocco is the proprietor of Red Viper Games, and if you need anything related to Magic the Gathering, check it out. The link will be in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and see you all soon.
Thank you, guys.